These really are some words about being a lighthouse in the midst of the storm, either a storm on the inside or a storm on the outside. It's not really a 3 tips kind of video. It's more like a pointing to it, a sort of unpacking of it in a certain way to encourage you or whatever to really court it, to court the possibility, no matter what state of the awakening journey you're on. It doesn't in many ways matter. What matters is turning attention to the possibility that it could be you who is the lighthouse in a storm. It's like not the kind of thing that necessarily needs to be left until sometime in the future. It's a question really of presence. It's a question of being with. It's a question of equanimity, which sounds like a very grand sort of place, inner place, but actually is not really. It's our capacity to be with, to remain, to stay, to not jump one way or the other way. It starts in a sense, and in many ways it can start in a small way, in a kind of heated conversation, or in a when an argument is brewing, or when a conflict, there's usually a few warning signs when a conflict is just about to happen. Either domestic, with a loved one or a family member or something, or else in a bigger context. This is on the personal level, in a public situation, or when, some conflict, argument might be arising with somebody in a store, or, on customer services, or as simple as this, in the small. I'm not talking about just on the grand scale of how do we meet the world. This is almost a theoretical thing. It's like, let's get to the micro view of things, the micro awareness that actually can happen in small ways. And these small ways are good ways. They're beautiful and very powerful ways. So when an argument is arising, or a conflict is sort of brewing, or in the middle of one, in a sense, to come back to some awareness and say, no, not necessarily, not this time. I'm going to be pulled into the division, pulled into the conflict, pulled into the storm. It doesn't have to be. I mean, it's, see how that is. If one can have some awareness in that conflict, in that meeting, in that argument, in that rising up, then in a way there's some awareness there. And if there's awareness there, then there's a choice there. Awareness brings choice. Say no. I'm going to stay as peace. And of course that has an implication within us, because we have to drop the almost the movement of righteousness within us, drop the movement of the argument, drop the rising up of the one who, is getting ready to engage in the battle. This is the battle consciousness that we have. It's a sort of, it's primal on one level, and it's cultural or conditioned, I should say, on the other. But we have a choice of what we do. You know, this is inherent in it. And I know this very well for myself, because I used to always be rising up into battle. Intolerance was the name of the game for me, you know, and it would come out, particularly in intimate relationship. And I had to really sort of allow myself to die into the unknown. It's a video that I've just done about not knowing, to actually allow oneself to fall back into the unknown. Oh, I don't know. You know, maybe I need to surrender this. Maybe I need to surrender the movement of my own righteousness. That's a small death. But these small deaths are really, you know, profound deaths. So that's one way, you know, of meeting this. And the other one is to really to be aware enough to be still, to choose stillness in the midst of noise, in a crowded environment. In a crowded environment, you know, you might find yourself in, I don't know, a bar or a crowded mall, or, you know, somewhere where there's lots and lots of hubbub and people and all, you know, all the personalities are doing all of this. To be still, to be the center of stillness, and to look at it, not with judging eyes, in fact, really not with judging eyes, but with the peace of equanimity, just watching, just being, just stillness. And that's the midst of the storm, right? See how it doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be true. The more true it is, the more real it is, the more empowering it is, the more honest and authentic it is. And that does, by and by, become a doorway. It's not exceptional, it's not it's not a grand place that the awakened have. It's actually, you know, a very real place that actually everyone can access. It's a simple presence. So to be calm, you know, and equanimous in a heated situation, to be the center of stillness, to hold stillness and awareness in a crowded place, or as you're walking through the streets or going shopping, to not just be hijacked by the self. Oh, I've got to get this, oh, I've got to get that, oh, they shouldn't be doing this, or oh, it's too loud, oh, I can't bear it. Go, oh, just be it. Take the power, take the authority, take the possibility, enter into the stillness. And if it doesn't last very long, it doesn't matter. At least in that moment it might be there. This is beautiful. Or in, you know, another case is in you know, when judgment is rising up. Here we are, we live in the world of judgment. We're in America. We're in any country you like. The world runs on its judgment. My judgment is right and your judgment is wrong. You know, and I'm going to hang out with people who believe my judgment, and I'm going to castigate and I'm going to pour scorn and dismiss those who don't believe my judgment and believe something else. And there, you know, there we are. You know, to be able to kind of be kind, to be not drawn into that. You know, the world is a phenomenal display in many ways. And, you know, the politics and drama and argument and, you know, being a social creature and being an identified human being. And, you know, it's kind of plays itself out on the stage of life. And once we get a kind of an awareness of that, there's a desire to drop out of that movie. But to drop out of that movie means you need to drop judgment of the movie to really drop out of it. And that means to kind of draw back and to actually be kind in a sense. Kindness not of the self. It's like forgiveness, but not of the self. Not me forgiving it, not you being kind to it, but actually to drop into a deeper place where kindness to ignorance, if you like, one's own ignorance, or the pull of the tide or the pull of the waves, a kind of kindness that's born of a grace of equanimity and the no judgment kind of place of grace. It's a very beautiful sort of way of being. It's a deeper way of being. It's a more calm way of being. And this is the essence of staying as the lighthouse in the collective storm, or the personal storm, or the ancestral storm, or the familial storm, or the storm of the body, or the storm of the energy that I was talking about yesterday. The storm of the energy as it rises up and brings with it a fear in some sort of way. I can't handle it, I'm going to die, this is too painful, that's not right, this shouldn't be happening, he shouldn't be this, and it kind of goes on. But actually the call is in many ways much deeper. To be the lighthouse in the collective storm is the emphasis, really, in a way, is on the light. The house is the house of presence. The light is the light of awareness. The storm is the storm. The storm is whatever is, pulling you at any given moment. In many ways, it's always a storm. There's light moments and there's heavy moments. There's a big storm or a little storm. But the personality level of consciousness that we seem to live in is always storming. It's always stormy. You can't just assume that one day it's going to be calm, because, in my 65 years, the only time it was calm was when I was a child of 3 or 4 years old in many ways. And then for me it was calm. Maybe in the womb it was calm. I can't think. There are moments of calm as we go along, but mostly the experience of the reality that we're in is that there are just different levels of storminess. And the only ultimately the only real way to stay true in the storminess is to become that lighthouse, which sounds very grand but is actually very ordinary. It comes with a certain depth, it comes with an experience, it comes with an almost relentless pursuit of equanimity or compassion or presence. I had no idea that this presence that I have now, in a way, was available to me. Make no mistake, you don't really know. I had no idea. I was never present in my life. I was always completely hijacked, completely a slave to my emotions, completely enslaved to my anxiety and judgmental thoughts, completely, entranced by the whole display of the world, even though it caused me such intense pain. I was still entranced by it because I had no idea that this depth and this level, if you like, I don't like to talk about levels, but this sort of depth of awareness or depth of presence was actually available to me. Well, it's available to each of us. And of course, everything I talk about on this channel is to do with that, is to do with, encouraging us to strip away and strip away and strip away, to inquire, to inquire, to inquire, to resolve, to resolve, to resolve, and by, over time, things start to happen. And the more devoted we can be to that journey, the more things slowly or rapidly, but usually slowly, start to change for us. And we start to get access to this deeper level of presence and beingness and kindness and tenderness and equanimity and grace, and but it's what I'm speaking to today is specifically really on being a lighthouse, to know that that's available, and actually in our collective world now, which is really high drama, the pulls of the energy systems, the pulls of social media, the pull of the drama, and the pull of the whole world is almost insane, one would say. And it can really mess with a person's mind and really mess with the person's energy system. So you either, give all your energy, to that. Give all your energy to that, storm, or else you come back and come back and come back. In small ways you come back. Just remember yourself. Remember the possibility. Remember your depth. It's a daily invitation. It's more than a daily invitation. It's a moment by moment invitation. It's a moment by moment. You wake up and here we are again. There's a certain joy at being alive again each day, and there's a certain, grief sometimes at being in existence again. Some days are good, some days are bad, some days the body's racked with pain, or some days it's like, seems all too much. The days come and the days go. The biorhythms change, the drama on the outside, the drama on the inside changes, like the waves on the ocean. But it really is incumbent upon us, on the spiritual journey, to find what it is for us to be the lighthouse in the midst of all of that movement of the waves. And it's an exceptionally beautiful, powerful intention to set the intention, to say, this is important to me, and I'm gonna pursue it, not with the mind, with the beingness. I'm going to pursue that because that feels right and that feels useful, and that will bring something good for me on this journey. Because I want to stand as the light of awareness and beingness in the midst of a storm, the inner storm or the outer storm. There you go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.